Hey guys, today I'm super excited to give you my spoiler free thoughts on Ahsoka. Now, I'm talking about episodes 1 and 2. I've only seen the first two episodes of the series, but I've got to tell you, as a massive fan of Star Wars Rebels, the animated series, my heart was happy watching this series. Now, listen, for those of you who don't know anything about Rebels, this might be called Ahsoka, but this is like it's Rebels live action. It's Rebels season 5. It continues the story, right? It all but picks up where it left off, basically. It doesn't exactly, it's in the future a little bit, but it's dealing with the consequences of the final episodes of Rebels in season 4. So if you don't know that much about Rebels, do what you can to either, learn a little bit about them. I have a video up here, like what you need to know. Maybe watch a couple of episodes because from the very start, they really dive into it. Now, I'm not saying they don't do a decent enough job of kind of explaining the characters, maybe like the tensions between them, kind of the stuff they've been through. They talk about it. They do what they can to talk about it, okay? But you're just not going to fully get it if you haven't watched these characters in Rebels, kind of gone on this entire journey with them. You just won't fully understand it. You won't understand the emotion behind it. You won't understand why this is such a big deal, okay? You won't understand why they're out searching for Ezra. Like, you're not going to get it, okay? And as someone who loves Rebels and has watched it more than once, it's hard to say what it's like going into this with a blind eye and not knowing, but I feel like they do a good job of explaining bits and pieces and ties between people, but I do think you're just not fully going to get it. You're not going to understand seeing Capital City on Lothal, right? You're not going to understand seeing the Loth Cats. You're not going to understand seeing Ezra's house, basically, that's what you could call it, like where he lived for so long. You're not going to understand the heart behind it. You're not going to understand why Sabine is the way she is. Like, you're just not going to fully understand it. And again, it's hard to say how someone who knows nothing about the Rebels will actually feel about this. I don't know that you'll be completely lost. I don't think that's true. Because from the opening crawl, the opening crawl, because yes, there's a crawl, and that is when I knew this series was going to be incredible and like nothing we have seen before. But from the opening crawl, they do their best. Dave Filoni does his best to be like, hey, if you haven't watched Rebels, here's a little bit of information for you. Here's what I can tell you. And I will say they do include a lot of it. And because of that, there's a lot of discussion. There's a lot of talking, right? There's a lot of explaining. And I think it goes a little slow at times. It definitely, there's some pacing issues at times because they are like, hey, spewing details to you so you like kind of get it. And then of course there's all sorts of other stuff going on as well, but they want people who haven't seen Rebels to sort of understand this. But then they also lean heavily into like, there's a lot going on. And there are some moments that are very cinematically beautiful. Maybe take a little bit too long, right? Like it starts off with Ahsoka looking for this map, and it's like, okay, I mean, I love watching Ahsoka do her thing, but like we didn't need like 10 minutes of her like holding this cube looking at it. A sphere. I shouldn't say cube, it's a sphere. But I mean, it wasn't really 10 minutes, but it goes on a little long. That's probably my biggest issue with this series is so far. It's 2 episodes. I can't say much past that. Is that maybe some moments go on a little bit too long. They could have been trimmed down, could have been a little bit tighter. But at the same time, I have seen them rush through series before. So I'm glad it's not rushed. I'm glad they are taking the time. So I'd rather have it get a little bit slow than be absolutely rushed through and you being like, hold on, what's happening? Slow down. So I can't fault them too much for that. Now, again, if you haven't seen Rebels, I do think some people, it's going to be a little confusing because, episode 1 and 2, we get Hera, we get Sabine, we get Chopper, and we get so much of them. We get a little bit of Ezra. We get discussion of Thrawn and what's kind of been happening there. We do also get like hey, this is what happened in the final episodes of Rebels season 4, right? They full on say that. So if you are watching the series and you haven't finished it yet, maybe you're watching Rebels and you haven't completed it, like you're gonna be spoiled. Okay, that's just, they have to, because this story is literally a continuation. We do get a lot of Ahsoka though, and we get some great lightsaber battles, some great lightsaber fights. We have Ray Stevenson, rest in peace. He's so good in this. I enjoy his character, I don't want to say too much about him, but he's intriguing. He seems like he's a gray area, sort of, which I kind of dig. And his, we'll just say partner there who's going around with him. They're pretty badass. They're pretty badass, and I kind of enjoy watching them. Again, we've got some great lightsaber fights. We get some great force battles. There's some good stuff in here. There really is. There's a lot of great action sequences. Maybe not enough. Like I could have used a little bit more. But that's just me because I love a good lightsaber fight. There's some chases, some crazy chases. But again, it just felt like Rebels. And that's the thing is, I love that these actors have really fully embraced who these characters are in Rebels. Like, it feels like I'm watching Hera. It feels like I'm watching Sabine. Heck, it feels like I'm watching Chopper. Like, the Chopper, right? And so that is what I love about this so much, because I love Rebels so much. Out of the first 2 episodes, I think the first is easily my favorite. It absolutely captured me. Although the second one is getting us on that journey and opening up what is going to be crazy, I'm sure, of a season. And it's setting us down the path and we know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, episode 1 opens with a crawl and ends with a massive cliffhanger, and you're just like, what is going on? It's just, it's perfect. It's amazing. It's incredible. I love that first episode. I felt like that first episode wasn't super slow. Like, it had a couple of slow moments. I think the second one was a little bit slower. But really, like I said, that's my really only complaint. But at the same time, I would rather them be slow than rush it. So, listen, if you love Rebels, if you love Star Wars Rebels, you are going to love this series, because it feels like they are literally ripped out of animation, brought to live action, and these are the characters. We are continuing their journey, and I love it, love it, love it so much. If you don't know Rebels, I'm honestly not sure how you're going to feel about this. It's very hard because I know Rebels so well to come into this as someone who doesn't know anything about Rebels, and trying to put on that hat is difficult, but I do see where there can be some issues, and maybe just not as much like, why are they caring about this? Like, what is going on here? What's the tension between these two? What's the history between these people? Like, if you don't have that and that emotional connection, it's just going to be harder. So overall, listen, Ahsoka has some humor. It has a lot of heart. There were a couple moments where I teared up. There was one moment where I cried. All Rebels related, though. So again, it does make me a little bit nervous for those who don't know anything about Rebels. I definitely think you should do your best to catch up and know a little bit. Not to say you won't enjoy it, but it will enhance your experience. But I loved the action. I loved a lot of the fight sequences. I think it's a little bit slow. Lothcats are adorable. Like, listen, I fell in love with them in the Rebels series. Lothcats are so cute. I think we've seen them in live action before, but listen, they are so adorable. Looks like a puppet. Literally looks like a puppet, but I don't care. It's super cute, so I'm not mad at it. I want one. I want a Lothcat. And I think my biggest issues is the pacing's a little off. It's a little slow at times. I think it's, we're getting there, right? We have 8 episodes. This is just the first 2. So there's going to be 6 more, which I think is very smart. I'm glad they are not rushing it, trying to shove it into this 6-episode thing. I think Dave Filoni is a genius, but I think we always knew Dave Filoni was a genius, so that really doesn't surprise me at all. I think it does what it can to get people invested in these Rebels characters. Just kind of hoping that people go back and watch it so that they can really truly feel connected and emotionally invested in these characters, because I think the only way you're really going to be fully in is if you go on the journey with them through 4 seasons of the animated Star Wars Rebels. So, and I know that's like impossible. I know the series comes out in less than a day, and I know it's impossible to do so, but you can maybe watch a couple of episodes and just try to do what you can, because they are going to spoil it for you in the end. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of this. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm digging the story. I'm very intrigued and interested, and I love it basically feels like a continuation of Rebels. I don't know why they called it Ahsoka. Totally should have called it Rebels. People could have been more prepared. People could have invested in Rebels for months before they came to this, because this is not a spinoff of The Mandalorian. It's not an Ahsoka live action spinoff of The Mandalorian. It is Star Wars Rebels Season 5. Not mad at it. I love Rebels, so I'm happy. I am eating good. But those who don't know anything about Rebels might have a little bit of difficulty with it. So listen, overall, just based on 2 episodes, which obviously I can't rate the whole season because I don't know what's going to happen. It could totally fall apart in the last 6 episodes. I don't think it will, but it could. But for now, I'm giving it a solid 4.5 out of 5, and this is because I'm totally biased and I love Rebels. But then I am aware there are a few issues. I think it'll correct itself. I think it's trying really hard to find a way to bring in an audience that doesn't know Rebels, and because of that, sometimes it falters. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. You guys let me know your thoughts on Ahsoka down below in the comments. Are you looking forward to it? Have you seen Rebels? Because if you haven't, I'm very curious for you to come back and tell me what you think after you watch the first 2 episodes, which drop tomorrow on Disney Plus. The first 2 episodes, like I said, that first episode ends with a massive cliffhanger. I think it would have been really fun if they made everyone wait, made the general audience wait. It would have been funny, and I would have gone insane. But they didn't. There's 2 episodes, so you can pick right up and know exactly what happened. You're not stuck on that cliffhanger for very long. All right, guys, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and check me out at mamasgeeky.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.